Hello and welcome back to Tech and Titanium. I'm Dexter Maddox. I'm the founder of IMvision Dental, which I started with the goal of helping my colleagues use technology to make practice easier and profits higher. In today's episode, we're going to discuss structuring your implant practice in Microsoft Teams, an important step in maximizing efficiency and communication within your team. Having a well-organized structure on Teams not only makes your practice run smoother, it also reduces confusion and enhances collaboration. It's perfect for single doctor practices, but especially as practices seem to be trending to multiple doctors and locations, having that communication hub is critical. Let's hop over to the computer and talk about setting up Teams structure for your practice. All right, I just want to quickly go over how you make a team, just as a kind of a review from the last video. So you're gonna go to the bottom of this page here where it's join or create a team. Go ahead and click on that and then go to create a team. You can play with some of these templates. The hospital and the patient care one, I thought would be better, but I honestly prefer just to do it from scratch. Go ahead and make it private and then give your team a name. And then you can add in a description. Go ahead and create the team, and then you can start to add members to the team, kind of however you would like, whoever needs to be included on that team. Go ahead and skip that for now. And again, to create a channel, you're going to say add a channel. When you click on that ellipses, we're going to call it project team for maybe somebody that's working on a project. So get creative with how you want to structure your teams and what makes the most sense for your office and your overall organization. I can go through what I've done with my office and within our practice. So first off, we have our leadership team, and each team is going to have the different channels like we talked about. They're always going to have a general channel. The general is kind of the catch-all, and then any of the channels beneath the general can then be, separate groups that maybe are working on a special project or some sort of small group within that overall team. For example, for the leadership team, the channel that we have is for the doctors. So the general includes our office coordinators and the rest of our leadership team, and then the doctors would only be in the other team. And then within the leadership team, there's a couple tools that we use just to kind of stay on top of things and stay organized. And just to give you an overview, so post is going to be anything that happens on that page. It's just going to kind of keep you updated. Think of it like the front page of Facebook, something like that. So it's going to keep you up to date on any changes within that team. Next is going to be files. So you're able to share files of anything that your leadership team is working on. Right now, we're working on our digital communication guidelines to talk about how to, use technology and use it appropriately in the workplace. So that's a file that we're currently collaborating on here. And then the next thing that I will add, and to add any of these tabs at the top that you see here, you're just going to use this plus sign. So this plus sign is going to bring up a whole library of applications, and explore in here and kind of see what looks good to you, because there's a lot of cool applications. Many of them are free. Some of them do have fees. I generally go for the free ones through Microsoft, but see what fits for you. A really good one that I use a lot is this tasks by planner and to do. And so that's exactly what this implementation board is. So the implementation board is just going to track all the projects that you have going on with an office, just to make sure we're staying on top of what we have planned and what implementation is in progress, and then being able to watch that to make sure the things that we have implemented continue to be involved in the systems of your practice. So you can have your planned column, you can have your leadership team implementation, your front office implementation, and your back office implementation. I really like to set due dates. I am a big believer in timelines. For a really simple task with this low difficulty, we'll do a 33-day timeline. For a moderate difficulty task that you can see in this tag, we'll do a 66-day timeline. And for a high difficulty task, that's a 99-day timeline, so that we, during our leadership meetings, can track the changes that are going on in the practice and making sure things are implemented effectively and efficiently. A cool one to check out is the Karma application, where you can actually incentivize some of the commendations that you can give through the software, and people can redeem that for gift certificates and different sort of exchanges all through this application through Karma. The link's in the description if you want to explore that. TeamFlect is another one where you can actually manage your objectives and key results for your organization. So you have, everything is followed with the leadership team. And lastly, I always like to add in a OneNote notebook. Again, to do that, you just click on here, and then OneNote usually is right at the top. But the OneNote notebook, which we'll call the leadership notebook, is going to be able to keep track of any meetings or anything that's going on. You just can click on this pane here. It'll track all your meeting minutes, all the policies within your organization really easily. The next one we can look at is the marketing team. So if we select the marketing team and the general tab, once again, you're going to be in the main field, which is going to be posts. Files is the next one. So our public relations coordinator keeps track of the office stops that she does to make sure that we're efficiently trying to see all the referrals and make sure no one's sort of being forgotten, and keeping notes about all those stops along the way so that nothing's forgotten. Next, we keep a board. Again, this is that planner and to-do extension that I've showed you of all of our goals and our strategies and our ideas and our categories for our referral marketing. And lastly, we'll keep a list of referrals on how we can make sure, if there's somebody new in town, or making sure we're going to continue to support our best referrals, or search, try to support the relationships for some of those growing referrals. And then lastly, we can have our annual marketing calendar where we can keep track of any, lunch meetings, any study clubs, any, special holidays where we're going to give out special goodies or t-shirts or something like that. We can keep everything like that on one page. So we're, really clear on, what's happening from the marketing perspective. A list I like to keep is a patient testimonial list. I just do that through this lists application here. It's as simple as that. And then with the patient testimonial list, you can keep any patients that are willing or interested in doing video testimonials. We all know how powerful of a marketing tool that can be to see patients describe having really positive treatment at your office. So having a list of those patients so that then you can get a date to bring everybody in to a professional studio, which is going to save you a lot of time and also a lot of money, where you don't have to book the studio a bunch of different times. You can get everybody kind of all in one place. And then finally, we can look at any projects that we have going on, any events, any community engagement, any other special active projects that are going on, just to make sure that everything's nothing's forgotten about, nothing is left to the last minute. And then lastly, I always like to have a notebook just to keep any general notes as it relates to marketing. And then once again, if there's anything else you want to add in here, there are a lot of tools within Microsoft Teams that could be implemented. Next, we can talk about the team for the practice as a whole. So you can see ours is structured into the general, and then our two separate locations, which are Pooler and Savannah. And then lastly, we have a billing and insurance, but I'm not really involved in that in a day-to-day basis. So what I do is I'll go ahead and hit that ellipses and then hide that team. And then it'll show up in this hidden channel so that you can see it, if you did want to access it, but it's not going to be there all the time. So for the general team, it's structured into, again, you start with posts, any changes within that team, files for, your culture code for your patient presentations, your standard operating procedures, anything where, it's nice for the team to have easy access to that documentation. Put it right there, and then it stays up to date, and it stays, you can make sure it stays well organized. Absentify is a cool extension that you can include, and that does absence tracking and approvals, and it's an easy way to see kind of who is going to be in and who is going to be out. And then lastly, you can keep a contact list for all of your team members. So if people did need to get in touch with somebody through their cell phone, generally speaking, I try to keep communication within professional outlets like Microsoft Teams rather than I really like to avoid getting on people's cell phones when at all possible, but sometimes you have to. So communicating through Teams, I think, is going to be a better way to go about it in general. But if it did come up, you have that option. And then within the subgroups that are specific for that location, they're really going to be pretty similar. I have them set up almost the exact same. Once again, you have any files that are specific for that location. One of the extensions I'll use is a PowerPoint extension. So again, going on that plus sign, and then you can just search for PowerPoint. I have that linked to a presentation for full arch dental implants, showing patients the difference between a, fixed and a removable implant prosthesis. The other extension you can add is actually YouTube. And on YouTube, there's a lot of really great consent videos. And it's a nice way to fill the time when a patient is sitting in a chair waiting for the doctor. You can go through some of the consent process. They're really thorough, make sure nothing is missed. I have all of OMSNIC's consent videos, which is the malpractice carrier for oral and maxillofacial surgery. So they have all their consent videos, including videos in Spanish that I have pinned on this tab. So it's available in any of the consult rooms to quickly be able to pull up this video while the patient is waiting, just to kind of go ahead and answer some of those questions and just go through a really thorough consent process that you can also document that they've seen that video. The next thing I include is a site-specific downtime task list. So you can include any of the rainy day activities that it'd be nice to go ahead and get these done. Maybe when the doctor's out or when a patient cancels, you can have a task list to be able to utilize that downtime. And then lastly, we can keep a med consult list of any patients that are getting medical consultation, making sure they're followed up appropriately and that it's not going to delay their procedures. So that's how I structure the office. Again, it's the leadership team, the marketing team, and then the overall practice team. But get creative on, how your practice is structured. Teams is super flexible, so it can kind of fit into any system or any practice style. And that wraps up how you can structure your implant practice in Microsoft Teams. A well-organized team structure is key for smooth communication and efficient workflows in your practice. So give it a try and let me know how it works for your practice in the comments below. In the next video in this series, we'll delve deeper into the use of Microsoft Teams in dental practices. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this video useful, and subscribe to our channel for more insights on dental technology and innovation. I'm Dexter Maddox, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.